Hey guys, the Super Review Show here for another episode of Why You Should Listen To. I know I did one yesterday, but I was doing a lot of thinking about this one group in particular and how much there's so much about them online, but at the same time, I don't understand why their numbers for certain songs are big enough on Spotify. This is the show where I break down Spotify streaming numbers for certain artists, and their music is just that good, you should listen to them. So, as the title of this video suggests, Bon Jovi, one of the biggest bands on the planet still. I know I did an editorial about how Bon Jovi survived grunge a little while ago, but this is just an initial why you should listen to Bon Jovi, because his story, the Bon Jovi story is very fascinating to me, at least, and I'm curious to see if you guys think about this too. So, quick backstory, and then I'll get into a couple albums and whatnot too. First things first, Bon Jovi. One of my favorite artists growing up as well. Aside from Living on a Prayer, You Give Love a Bad Name, Who Said You Can't Go Home, and Bad Medicine, and It's My Life. This band I've actually really liked. As I grew older, I liked them more and more, I guess you could say. I remember certain songs I had on my iPod that were from 2009, the Circle album, where We Weren't Born to Follow and Superman Tonight. I had those two songs on my iPod and I listened to them constantly. But as I got older, the more I thought, well, Bon Jovi formed in 1984, if I'm not mistaken, because their debut album came out in 1984. It had Runaway on it and had a couple other tracks on it that are still somewhat popular amongst fans today. Not as mainstream as Runaway, but still. Then came 7800 Degrees Fahrenheit, which is a fan favorite album, but not one of John's favorites. Then came Slippery When Wet, with Living on a Prayer, with You Give Love a Bad Name, Wanted Dead or Alive, and Never Say Goodbye, one of his most underrated tracks, in my opinion, that he doesn't play as often as he should. As well as Without Love, and Wild in the Streets, Let It Rock. It's a fantastic record. I think it's great. And it fit into this 80s hair metal mold, if you will, at the time. Then came New Jersey, which was their next album, their fourth album. And Bon Jovi he stopped playing the game of I'm going to follow my success, because he stopped following it and he got Living on a Prayer and Slippery When Wet, and that's obviously was the best-selling album of that year, 1987. It was the best-selling record as far as stats go and whatnot. New Jersey comes out in 88, and it was, again, so Living on a Prayer, You Give Love a Bad Name, 2 number one hit singles on the Billboard Hot 100. Then he gets 2 more. I'll Be There For You, These 5 Words I Swear to You, and Bad Medicine hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 88 and 89. A ton of success in the late 80s for this band. Now, you're probably saying, well, JT, of course, of course, Bon Jovi, he took a hit with grunge. Yes and no. This is the part of the band's history that I find very fascinating, personally. Because when I did a whole video about this for Bon Jovi, and when I talked about Nirvana's Nevermind, it's a pretty big thing, how grunge shut out hair metal completely. So you would think, oh, Bon Jovi's going to go by the wayside and never be heard from again. Same with Motley Crue did for a long time, as well as Def Leppard took a big hit with grunge, Iron Maiden, all these other hard rock bands that went out of style come grunge. You never really heard from their chart hits again. And I did a whole video on that too, so check that out. When I talked about Nirvana's Nevermind turning 30 and how it changed the rules. But Bon Jovi survived. Bon Jovi survived grunge. Here's how he survived grunge. And I'm not going to get too much into detail with it. But basically, he knew early on that he did not want to chase success or follow fads. For those who don't know what that is, if you're following a success, if you want to copy someone else's success, by the time you get to that point, it's no longer popular. It's just the way it is. It's the way life is. And he also said something about how, because I've listened to a couple of his interviews at one point about this. He said oh well, when grunge came out, I never wanted to be grunge. I wanted to be Bon Jovi. I wanted my band to evolve and not follow grunge. That's why in the early 90s, we had Keep the Faith. Keep the Faith was a fantastic record and had a couple of chart hitters as well in the midst of grunge. 1992, Bed of Roses, In These Arms, And not only those two, but as well as the socially conscious song Keep the Faith and I'll Sleep When I'm Dead. These are not grunge style songs. He did not follow grunge. I want to make that very clear. So then in the mid-90s, he comes out with Crossroads, which is a greatest hits record at the time. Thus having Always, which reached number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the mid-90s, like 1995. Think, oh, Bon Jovi's done, whatever. Always comes out. Bam! Chart hit success. Someday I'll Be Saturday Night. Another big success for him. That record sold 10 million copies for Bon Jovi. So, again, grunge is hitting alternative rock. Hip-hop's taking a big mainstream. Bon Jovi's still around. It's just the truth. In the midst of Green Day being huge, Bon Jovi is still a big thing. So think of it like that. Then, when These Days comes out in like the mid-90s with 1995 or 6, I believe, These Days comes out. A bit of a darker record for them, not even chasing ballads or success. They just wanted to put out a record that had like a lot of emotion, I guess, to it. I haven't really listened to it that well, so I don't really know much about it. But then, come 2000, the turn of the millennium, what hits successfully on the Billboard Hot 100 and charts sky high with a Bon Jovi record with Crush. Crush and It's My Life broke Bon Jovi into the next generation. My generation, because I'm 23 years old. I was born in 1998. So hearing It's My Life on the radio when I was very young, and hearing it since then, it's still a big song. It's still a fantastic song that launched their career to the next generation. I still like Crush a lot, too. There's a couple other good songs in there, like Captain Crash and the Beauty Queen of Mars. Next 100 Years, I believe, is another track I like. I think it's the name of it. Anyways, it's a great record. And to think, Bon Jovi's back in 2000. Then they released Bounce in 2001. They go on to release Have a Nice Day. Enough of Bon Jovi. John Shanks enters the picture. Who Says You Can't Go Home reaches number 25 on the Hot 100 in 2005. So you think, this 80s hair metal act is having success now. His band, what I'm trying to get at is that his band evolved over time. If you watch music videos of them from the 80s, the 90s, and the late 90s and the 2000s, you can see that they adapted to the times of like dress wear, hairstyling, and stuff like that. But at the same time, their music changed a lot over the course of time. Who Says You Can't Go Home is a great song. Period. End of sentence. It's a great song. As well as Have a Nice Day, Welcome to Wherever You Are. These are great songs on these albums. So, and then Lost, and then because of Who Says You Can't Go Home, he goes to Nashville in 2007 and 8 and records Lost Highway. A great album. Overall, a fantastic record. With, Lost Highway, Whole Lot of Leaving, We Got It Going On. Like, these are great, 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 great songs. I don't understand. Like, the people, there's some people who are like hardcore fans, like, I've never liked them since Slippery When Wet. He doesn't want to make records that sound like that anymore. He's wanted to make music that sounds current, of the time, and be successful at it. And he's doing a great job at it. He's survived for the past 30-something years of music, and to think he would have died in 1991 with like his musical career. So anyways, that's a little back history on Bon Jovi. And plus, they just put out 2020. I know it's a very controversial record, but I enjoyed it for what it was. I mean, I'm not like, I refuse to get political on this show. I hate politics with a passion. It does not do things for me that I want it to do at all. I hate politics from the get-go. So for him to make a very political record or a topical record was very hard for me to listen to, but I still liked it overall. I understood what he was coming from, but I liked it. That's me. This House Is Not For Sale was great. The Circle was great. His post-2010 era Bon Jovi has been great. He's doing really well for such a... And he acted for a while. The band has been great. So, long story short, that's the background history for Bon Jovi. He did such a fantastic... He's lasted a long time because he took risks to be here. If he followed country, boy bands, grunge, he would be messed. He would not be where he is today. And on top of that, I'll get to this towards the end of the video, but his foundation is great. I'll get to that in a little bit. Anyways, that's the back history on Bon Jovi. So hear me out for a second. Bon Jovi, fantastic band. Started out as a hair metal act, and then evolved over time. I know some people don't like that. Like, I know I have certain circles of friends of mine who are like, yeah, I only like him for Living on a Prayer, You Give Love a Bad Name, Bad Medicine. You know, that era. I understand that. But what my peace of mind is that the guy has been around for so long. At least give it a shot. At least give his new music a shot. At least give Who Says You Can't Go Home a shot. At least give We Weren't Born to Follow, Superman Tonight a shot. At least give Lost Highway his attempt to go from a hair metal 80s act to a country record. Give it a shot. All music is subjective. I totally understand that. But his artistry has stood the test of time. He's a fantastic writer and composer, and he's a great, all-around great artist. And I love his band. Anyways, this house is not for sale. Again, a lot of success after 2015, really. I mean, yeah, he went through turmoil at that point, but yeah, I'm not going to get into that. Anyways, that's Bon Jovi's history. Now, I have only 3 of his albums, and I've listened to them on LP because they're original pressings. I do not have his debut album, an original pressing of that, because it was, I haven't gotten around to it. But I do have his next album, which actually has one of my favorite Bon Jovi tracks on it, which is from 700 degrees Fahrenheit. I can't even talk anymore. Has Silent Night on it and Tokyo Road. In and Out of Love. There's actually really good songs on this record. Again, it fits the whole hair 80s hair metal thing. I mean, look at that. This is Bon Jovi back in the day. This is the back of the record. I mean, look at that. In and Out of Love, Price of Love, Only Love. It's kind of depressing record at the same time. I liked it. Silent Night is a great track. If you've not heard Silent Night, get on it. Tokyo Road, fantastic record. Fantastic track as well. There's a lot of good stuff on this record. It's a fan favorite. It's not one of John's favorites. However, this was 1985. In 1986, this album comes out, and mind you, the people who love this record and have stood by him for a long period of time, they go back to this record, but then they understand the new stuff as well. But this is the album that kind of cemented his stance as a massive, massive chart hitter, record selling. The guy has sold 130 million records worldwide in physical copy. And this is a good testament to that because Living on a Prayer is on this album, Slippery When Wet. It even has the sticker. I got it with the sticker on it too because I got it off eBay. Bon Jovi's Slippery When Wet, featuring You Give Love a Bad Name, Living on a Prayer. I've listened to this album from start to finish. It is amazing. Let It Rock, You Give Love a Bad Name, Living on a Prayer. Social Disease, so good. Wanted Dead or Alive, great track. Side 2, Raise Your Hands. Without Love, I Die for You, Never Say Goodbye. Why have you not played that, John Bon Jovi? Play that more often, please. Wild in the Streets, fantastic. This album was probably the best-selling album of 1987. If I'm not mistaken, it was the best-selling record. Because they sold 10 million copies of this. Physical, on LP, vinyl, back in the day. This is an original pressing of it. But like I said, Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet. Stood the test of time. It still sounds great, too. I mean, I played it not too long ago, and it sounds great. So, there's his second, third album. The only other LP I have of original pressings, because I'm not going to get... I'll tell you the truth. I collect vinyl. I collect vinyl a lot, but I wanted to collect vinyl, the original pressings. I don't mind new LP pressings of certain albums, but I'm not going to get a new LP pressing of a classic record. I try to collect original LP pressings at some point or another. That's just me. Bon Jovi's New Jersey. Now, this one, you're going to think I'm crazy. I actually got this off eBay. Not realizing what I got, though, at the time. I hope to God it's not in Russian, because the back is completely in Russian. I ordered this from eBay on Russia. Now, let me show you guys on the camera. That's a lot of it's in Russian, because this was an LP printed in Russia. It's written in Russian. I hope it plays in English. I haven't played it yet, but it's all in Russian lettering. Here you go. See that? So, I don't know. But it's something crazy. This is when they were on top of the world. At this point, they just did so well. They did a fantastic job. And look, they went from there, and they went on and on and on. And because they've been here for so long, they've been here. I mean, look, John said this best. He said, Some people have gotten on the ride since we started. Some people have gotten off. Some people have gotten on at very different points of my journey. Some people like my music. Some people don't like my music. That's what art is subjective. All art is subjective. I have gone on record numerous times and say I don't like Pink Floyd at all. I don't. I do not like Pink Floyd at all. That's me. I love Bon Jovi. I don't like Pink Floyd. I mean, don't critique me for my opinion because all art is subjective. And I respect your opinion if you respect mine. It's that simple. If that's the way life is. And he accepts that. He understands that some people don't like his records in general. Some people like him. Some people like this album or that album. Some people like they got on different points. Some people understand that he has different career, he's had such a long career. He understands that people have gotten on and off of his journey. He understands that. He doesn't care. Like he doesn't. Like he said something on record at one point. He said there'd be the hardcore fan. Like, I haven't liked them since New Jersey or Slippery and Wet. He's like, why would I want to rewrite You Give Love a Bad Name? I was 25 and I wrote it then. And it was a cute song. It was a fantastic song. I still like playing it, but I'm not going to rewrite that because I'm 50-something, almost 60-something years old. It just makes sense. Like that goes into another conversation of like hair metal artists and how like that back in the day, like stuff like Here I Go Again on My Own. Like he said on record at 25, he said thank God it came true for him. He did not want to make records where he was 50 years old, getting his hair done, stitched into his head, and having his fingernails black. That was not him. He wanted to evolve. He wanted to grow up. I mean, Nikki Sixx, I'm looking at you from Motley Crue, just saying. Sorry. I like Motley Crue a little bit. I mean, they never really grew up. He grew up. So, I don't know. That's a lot of information on Bon Jovi for you. Anyways, I digress. Why should you listen to Bon Jovi? Well, my reasoning for why you should listen to Bon Jovi is because you can jump in at different points in his catalog and experience different styles he's done. If you want to go for the bombastic 80s hair metal stuff, go back to his first 4 albums. If you want something a little more like softer, like a ballad type of thing, I would go to songs like Bed of Roses, These Days, stuff like, what's the other one I can't think of? You Want to Make a Memory off Lost Highway. You know, these are softer songs, or even Amen off What About Now. So these are songs that you can get into that are like that show his evolution as an artist, how he grew up. Even Story of Love off 2020. It's a great song. It's not your typical 80s hard rock thing. He didn't stick with that, like I said. So, and I love that. But that's just, I mean, I think because he's evolved a lot. I think he respects his fans a lot. He's done a lot for his community in New Jersey. As most of you may or may not know, I have been to the JBJ Soul Kitchen at least twice in my lifetime, and I've supported a good cause through his restaurants. There's videos on this. Look, if you really want to get to know his philanthropy point of view, I'm gonna leave a couple links in the description of this video so you guys can check it out. The Soul Kitchen and his announcement for his restaurants and stuff like that in New Jersey. I've been to one of them. I've been to the one in Red Bank, New Jersey. Not Tom's River. It's a little bit too far for me. But I've been to the Red Bank one, and I loved it. It's a really interesting model how he's trying to do good in his community. He also has a foundation called the JBJ Soul Foundation. So aside from being a famous rock star, he's trying to do good in the world. How can you not respect that, at least? You know, that's me. So anyways, he's a philanthropist. He's a rock star. He's a fantastic musician. His band is great. They've done timeless work, in my opinion. And that's just some reasons why you listen to Bon Jovi. Like I said, the links for those to show what he does, I'm going to leave a link for them in the description of this video so you guys can check them out. Hopefully you can support a good cause and maybe make a donation to his foundation. For those of you who are not aware of that. So anyways, they'll leave it in the description of this video so you guys check it out. So those are some reasons why you should listen to Bon Jovi. All around great guy, super great artist, a lot of hard rock stuff, a lot of cool evolution of music. He's really cool, really great. And so far, I love him. I can't wait to see him hopefully this year if he comes around. So thank you so much for watching this video. For all of your why you should listen to videos, keep it locked on The Super Review Show. The J-Man is off to rock, and we are living on a prayer.